Hey everybody, it's Dave and I'm back with another Friday video. Today I'm going to focus on a foundation principle of drawing character art. One of my favorite things to do is to take my drawing tablet to a cafe near here, and sometimes when I'm sitting and drawing and working on Dreamside stuff, somebody will approach me and ask me what I'm doing, and if I ask them, "Are you an artist?" and they say no, inevitably they follow that up with, "The only thing I know how to draw is a stick figure." And I think, well, that's great, because that's really the foundation of making a character. And that's what I want to elaborate on today, is breaking character drawings down into simplistic shapes, which is really basically the foundation of the very first layer that you need to understand in order to construct a character. And so what I've got on the screen here is an image of the dream girl from Dreamside, and I'm going to show you how I'm breaking her up into simple shapes. So let me just turn the opacity down on this a little bit, and I'm going to turn this on. This is something I made just before the video. It shows you how she breaks up into simplistic forms. As you can see, her legs are just cylinders. The joints are just spheres, and the head is a big ball. The torso is an elongated sphere. And that's really her makeup. It's very simplistic. And of course, this can be done for any particular character. It really just has to do with the proportions. But if you understand how to break the character up into these simplistic forms, really what you're doing is you're helping yourself understand how the three-dimensional forms work with each other. And that's going to help you translate the three-dimensional form into a 2D drawing. There's another reason that this is so important, in particular if you're interested in character illustration or comics or animation. When you're drawing for animation or any of these other cases, you have to sometimes work a drawing several times before you get the right pose. And the reason that I chose this pose as an example is that you can see it's kind of unusual. I mean, her legs are kicked straight up like this. Well, the first time that I drew her for this illustration, in the thumbnail phase, I had her sitting with her legs crossed, okay? But I didn't feel that that properly conveyed the whimsical, fantastical nature of this character. She comes from another world, and so I want to make sure that the audience sees her as this kind of fantastical creature, right? And so it took me a little while, probably maybe 5 or 6 iterations before I even just tried kicking her legs up like this. And even when I did, I then had to think, like, do I want to keep her legs together? Do I want to have her touch her toes together? You know, in doing this, where I kind of rotate her legs in such a way that her feet sort of overlap each other like this. That was something that took me further sort of sub-sketches within the whole body sketches to just focus on the feet, as well. Same thing with the hands. To figure out these positions took me a little while. It didn't come with the first try. And so the reason that you want to think about things in simplistic shapes, and ideally work your poses out with simplistic shapes, is that if you jump right into a finished line art like this, and you put all this work into it, and then you realize, I really don't like this pose, or it doesn't get the character across the way that I want it to, then you've wasted a lot of time. It's good practice, but if you're trying to get a project done, it can really it can cost you a lot of time and energy, and it can be very disappointing too, very disheartening if you spend a lot of time on an illustration and it's just not what you need. And if you have a dangerous level of perfectionism like I do, then it can really cause you some problems. So simplify your shapes. And a great way to practice with this is to take a sketch pad, go out and just draw things all around you. Draw things that you would never think to draw. Draw people, draw trees, draw animals. And when you do it, break it up into simple shapes. If you're drawing a tree, maybe instead of thinking about the clumps of branches, think about just the big spherical shapes. Break it down into its most simplistic forms, all right? And that's going to help you understand the three-dimensional nature of what you're trying to draw. And it's going to train your mind to be able to do that very effectively, no matter what you're trying to draw. So do your practice, and please do let me see what you come up with. Leave your comments below. You can always reach out to me on my website at dmcumbo.com, and there's a subscribe button there. You can join my mailing list and reach out to me on social media as well. But also, please do let me know what you would like to see with future videos. So I hope it was useful for you. We'll see you next week, and I hope you have a great art-filled weekend.